worry about it, everyone. I have the heavy responsibility of making this session engaging and also timely. We won't be eating into your lunch break. A very warm welcome to all our panelists. So glad to have all of you. A quick icebreaker. We just saw a fabulous presentation by Amadeus about what the traveler can expect in the years or perhaps even months to come. Now, if I were to ask you, what is one AI disruption or offering that you would like to see as a traveler, what would that be? Starting with you, Vikas.
Well, I think everything has been spoken about what we saw earlier, but one thing which can, I think, a little more work can happen. One is the last-minute travel. I would say last leg of travel. I think that's where it's easier to book tickets, easier to book flights, hotels. Everything is great. How to reach from hotel, how to do the sightseeing and whatever you need to do in that destination. I think that's where some more research in AI would really help.
Personally talking, right, so I would imagine, right, a place where probably right now, even I plan for a trip, right, so I need to hop from one place to other, visiting many websites, like fetching information, collecting certain things, right, opening Google Maps, figuring out, okay, what's the driving distance from this to that and rest of the things. So I would imagine or dream for a place where most of the information is collated and answered in seamless manner, contextually primarily, right? So for travelers like me primarily, right? So who don't love to hop 35 different sites and then be able to plan a trip or itinerary. Yeah?
You speak for all of us. We would love that one-stop solution. Jyoti, go ahead. I believe you're working on that at Amadeus.
Yep. So what we call as a retailing experience of travel is what I also dream about. So just like you would place an order on Amazon at a click of a button, I would like my travel experience exactly to be like that. The simplest of experience is what I would like to see. Not just from booking, but the actual travel happening as well. I mean, how do I travel in a bus, right? I don't have to show my boarding passes 10 places when I travel in a bus. So, but I want the luxury of travel. I want to feel that, yes, I am traveling. I have something different than a bus journey, but I don't want those hassles. That complete frictionless travel journey is what I would look for, and technology is a key enabler for that.
Well, I think most of things are definitely covered from a consumer experience because you're doing travel to enjoy it, and in realm of luxury if you want, or you're in realm of any outcome you're looking for. But I'm just going to complicate the video we just saw. If as a parent you're traveling with two kids, that journey could also complete with that. It's much easier for the parents as well.
Excellent. I loved all those suggestions coming in, and I'm sure we have innovators in this room right now working on that. We have a very interesting group of panelists today, and they've all been leading AI, so we're going to ask them about their applications. I'll quickly tell you, Vikas, of course, the head of the Encalm Lounge, the best lounge in the country. A round of applause if you all agree. Fantastic. We have, so that's B2C and B2B, of course. We have Piyush, Make My Trip. I know it's a site that we all use. We use it at times as well. So again, B2B and B2C. We have Jyoti, who deals with B2B2B. So, there's an additional layer there at Amadeus. And we have Pankaj, who is very B2B as well. So we have a very motley group of panelists here. So I'm going to love their insights when they tell us about how exactly they're harnessing AI in these various industries. So Vikas, starting with you, community knowledge is so important when it comes to airport lounges, right? Like we were discussing, airport lounges are the new oil. So tell us, how exactly are you tapping into AI to stay at the forefront?
Well, it's actually very easy for us, Shilpa, because every individual who comes to our lounge is actually a connoisseur in his own terms. And they have their own comments about food, same food probably being liked by someone, the other one does not like it. So we have huge data with us. We have our own feedback system wherein people can give their comments, let us know, rate us. Of course, social media is a big boon for us. We do our sentiment analysis. They help us, let us know what to work upon, what not to work upon. So I think and these things are probably housekeeping for every company nowadays. And everybody is doing these things, whether it's hotels or travel agents or any travel company. What we are also using this data is how to train our team members as to we look at these sentiments and see what kind of changes we need to do in body language of our team members in terms of how do we impart more food knowledge or beverage knowledge, what is more pertinent. Going on beyond that, we're also looking at what kind of profile do we need to hire from here on. So yeah, it's taking a step further currently.
Okay, so that's the secret behind the wonderful service at the Encom lounges, unlocking that. Piyush, of course, when we interact with Make My Trip, we've all seen the bots. We've seen a voice-enabled search. I hear that's in collaboration with Microsoft. So you are tapping into generative AI in a very big manner.
Yeah, so I assume, right, so some folks have played with the voice chat experience which we recently launched, and we are receiving good feedback primarily on the same. I will give a quick maybe behind the scenes, right, why we thought, right, so primarily in India, right, so and we have been like so working in with chat interfaces in past as well, right, so wherein like so understanding user query requires good amount of machine learning plus, right, so chat would also assume, right, so a user is able to like type using keyboards, etc. But like so with almost like so in India, right, so we have 22 plus official Indic languages, right, so the vernacular keyboards are complex enough to give any input in their native language, and to tap the Bharat Janta, even like the internal code name for the chat expert or bot was Bharat voice chatbot itself, right? So, wherein the essence was, right, so speaking is easy, and if a person, if he or she can express in native language, so voice is going to be one mechanism, obviously chat is going to be there, and then touch. So combination of this hybrid UX is something which, on the hypothesis side of it, right, so when we worked with Microsoft, primarily leveraging Azure AI and OpenAI models at the back for natural language understanding, and then delivering an experience back to the customers. Also leveraging like speech to text, text to speech models, again from Azure offering or Azure Cognitive Services primarily. And the experience has been like, so the initial feedback which we have received from the customers, right? So even the conversation, for example, typically a call, like, so if you make a call, right, as habit, right? So we will say, okay, hello ma'am, good evening, etc. The other person has interacted in like, so very like local language or daily use of language itself. And then like, so the experience was wow, because like, so the feedback primarily came in saying, okay, I was able to have a similar experience seamlessly end-to-end till payments, utilizing again QR code, which the user is very habitual with. We even changed the funnel steps, right? Typically you would ask, and travel is very like, so form filling kind of thing, right? So you require good amount of information before a ticket is booked, or you need traveler details, age, this, all those kind of nuances, right? So how seamlessly we can just understand the user query and fulfill certain things rather than again asking the user to enter a form or input back to those kind of things. So, and that was the premise, right? So when we entered into this collaboration with Microsoft and have been working, and currently with Hindi and English, we are seeing good traction, and we hope to like add more languages sooner on the platform itself. And the other part primarily, right, so which we saw in Amedi's presentation as well, which is, right, so you have opportunity starting from dream to planning phase, right, so to book and then post book, right, so AI interface can help answer many information through the bot itself, and that is what we are trying to achieve working on this. this. Yeah.
You know, apparently 1/3 of travelers now say they would want to use ChatGPT to plan the itinerary or to handle their travel queries before they plan their travel. So that's very interesting that you're stepping in there. Now coming to Amadeus, we saw all the various solutions that they had, but we have Jyoti who works at the forefront of all this innovation. So Jyoti, tell us, how exactly are developers being assisted with AI tools?
Yeah. So from developer standpoint, developer productivity is assisted quite a lot through. I mean, we also are a partner with Microsoft, and Copilot is what we use. So a lot of boilerplate templates can easily be done. Another piece that we are working on, let's say if a travel agent wants a new website, airline wants a new website, it can be created at a touch of a button, including language choices. So there are all these tools now at the disposal of the developers to build such solutions. The other piece to be kept in mind is overuse of technology should also be prevented. We keep talking about generative AI, chat GPT, etc. Now, if a Google search costs you 1 rupee, let's say, a similar search or chat that you have with the chat GPT costs you almost 3,000 times of that. Now, so it's such prevalent now that everyone talks about it, saying let's do it, but there is a huge cost involved. So the right use of technology also has to be quite looked at, because it's not sustainable that you put this on everything that you do. That's something as well that we look at from a developer standpoint, that are you using technology for solving the right problems. It's not to be used for everything. I mean, it's quite fancy. It's one of the things that had so much of adoption. It had like 1 million or 10 million users in a day. But then there is a huge cost involved. So using technology for right things is something that we focus on quite a lot.
Strategic adoption of AI, that is so important, and perhaps we'll have some time to discuss that as well. Pankaj, tell us, you actually have a MarTech stack, right? A MarTech offering where they're leveraging AI in a very big manner to interact with brands, to facilitate brands have their own tones with customers. Tell us how that's coming about.
Certainly, first of all, thanks a lot to the organizers to have RateGain on panel here. I mean, RateGain is one of the very emerging travel technology company, SaaS-based in India. And I do want to kind of differentiate the fact that when she said P2B, we typically are helping our clients, which are other businesses like hotels, airlines, OTAs, or destination management office, tourism boards, for managing their end customers, customer experiences, and also at the same time maximizing their own revenue. So one example, or like, the real life stuff we are doing for a lot of luxury hotels, we do social media brand management. So not many people who raised hands on Instagram, but I mean, if you look at the generations ahead of us, people are highly influenced by what they see on social media in terms of what they aspire to do as a travel, or what booking they will get, or what booking they will make. So we do manage brand handles or hotel handles for the likes of, let's say, Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton on some of these social media platform. And as part of that, we ensure we are engaging the end customers with regular postings, content, creative, and as well as the community management. Now, what becomes very important for these brands is how do they interact with their consumers on open platforms, because what you post or what you respond is actually then gone completely public. So what we're using, some of the AI tools, is essentially our own, like, a decade-long experience or data with what postings work, along with what brand guidelines we get in terms of the tonality, the language, or the choice of words they want to use. So before anything goes out, we run across the ChatGPT APIs in terms of the data we have, and obviously the suggestion, the brand score. Just to give you an example of this, which might resonate a hotel like Westin will want to use very formal words, while the same, like within the Marriott ownership, there is also W, which might want to use very chic, party-oriented words, the tone of language, or the kind of emotion they want to generate in the end audience. So every of these large brands actually have very structured brand guidelines, and then also there are certain um, notations from the region. For example, when we do this in a Saudi market or a UAE market versus a US market, there could be a lot of restrictions or there could be a lot of preferences. So all that feeds into the data models along with the API capabilities from the LLMs like ChatGPT to ensure that what we are posting out is the most finesse and most appropriate content for end consumers.
And what's very interesting is they have their own database and it's been built over a period of 12 years. So it's not just ChatGPT making these suggestions, it's a very personalized suggestion based on their own data, which has been time proven and also suggests your engagement rates, right? So that's the MarTech offering that you have. Now, when we talk about AI, I think a lot of us are also concerned. We interact with AI when it comes to chatbots, right? But how quick is the human intervention? Because that's also so important, because when it comes to an exception management or when it comes to empathy, you can't rule out the human agent. So I would love for you to come in on that, Piyush. How do we maintain empathy while also increasing operational efficiency?
Yeah, even the state of art ChatGPT, GPT-4 models or large language models out there, right? So have a good amount of catch up to be done primarily onto empathy and some of the things which Pankaj talked about, which is tonality and rest of the things, right? So these are not out of the box, right? So you get just with a simple writing a prompt and then be able to just up there. So there are many nuances, right? So with this. And as a brand primarily, right, so you need to take care of the customer experience end to end without like so just relying on these tools, and hence, right, so human is still going to be not just as a reviewer of what the output is, even in form of right interacting with the customers, or either our calls primarily to handle certain situations primarily. But overall, if you see, right, so and I love the analogy which Microsoft has, which is primarily a co-pilot, which is primarily a design thinking kind of thing. So they are positioning most of the stack where AI is going to be as a co-pilot, right? So, and to a human doing a work, right? So, and that's how we see also, right? So gradually growing the footprint around, wherein, right? So we have good workforce, holiday experts, and I'm sure like so holiday, you understand is a complex itinerary, right? So you would need some hand holding in while defining that itinerary and choosing and crafting it for your own needs. And hence, right, so holiday experts on our side helps customer dwell more onto and then be able to craft the true itinerary which is required by the customer, and hence the hand holding. But leveraging again the AI bit, right? So either on training those agents, you are utilizing as a co-pilot, like in answering certain questions upfront, right? So for example, a chatbot is helping a customer in saying, okay, the basic questions about the itinerary is discovered by just a bot and a customer interaction, and then the fully qualified query is handed to a human agent to take it further, right? So human in the loop is going to be there, and as I said, right, so on the AI and machine learning front, right, so good amount of catch up needs to happen, more on empathy and rest of the things. Plus also, right, so most of the models are like developed on more of bookish kind of a text, right? But when you have an interaction, and that's what one of the other challenge we faced initially, right? So when we started working with OpenAI models, because the human is using a everyday like usage of language is very different, right? So it is having an English Hindi mix or whatever like so nuances of words, etc. and when you see a reply from a bot, right, so it is not in similarity to those things. And those challenges are something which having a human either in assisting and reviewing what goes out as a customer experience is going to be still there,
All right,
still
so
work in
it's a
progress.
relief. It's a relief to know that we are still needed for a few years at least. All right, Jyoti, I would love for you to talk to us about bias, accounting for bias. Right, when we talk about AI, it's already crept in, and that's what the studies show. How are innovators such as you handling that?
Sure. So I think the topic is about actually the ethical use of AI, and fairness and bias, as you call it, is a very key pillar within that. As an example, so we work on biometric solutions. Now, how do you train these models, right? What kind of images are you actually feeding into this model so that your face is recognized well? So you sometimes see that people, I mean, it's just as an example, right, with brown skin and low lighting settings, right? Sometimes our airports don't have the right light settings, as well as your skin is darker tone. Facial recognition doesn't work so well because your models are trained with a different setting, with a different ethnicity of people, race, etc. So when you train your models, you have to remove this bias. Sometimes you don't have that data with you, but then that's the power of AI now, especially generative AI, where you can generate these images in different varieties and feed your model such that the biases are removed as much as you can. That's one way actually that you can make sure that there is fairness in the system. To be conscious about it and always think of it as to, is your data that you're feeding into these models unbiased? Yep, so that's.
All right, staying on ethical considerations when it comes to AI, Pankaj, what do you think are the biggest concerns and how should they be addressed?
Well, certainly there are like, I mean, it's like a Pandora's box. Like you can, the biggest concern as we face is also the data privacy part of it. Some of the recent studies almost says that more than, while you said 1/3 of the customers would want to use AI, about more than half, 51% of the customers feel that their data will be misused if they use AI. So I think as we are planning our future efforts and kind of for organizations who are on technology, architecturing, planning process, they need to understand and also accept it. It's almost like a mandate to ensure that the data, I mean, they include like the customer consent management platforms or customer data management platforms, which are then connected to different other systems. Because as a traveler goes through multiple different systems, right? He does not want to sign up or duplicate the same consent every place again and again, right? So if that path forward, I think will be very helpful in terms of, you know, how do you manage the customer data and also build that trust with the end consumers between the brand and the customer that, hey, if I am brand A, customer, you trust us that, you know, your data is safe with us. I mean, just take an example like how Apple built that whole philosophy, and they had to take really tough decisions to make sure that that happens. I mean, that's what would my thoughts would be around this.
Sure. Would you like to speak about that, Piyush?
Yeah, sure. So again, like, so dissecting the ethics part of it, right? So one is like, so organization responsibility and the partner ecosystem in overall, right? So, and especially, right, so there are two parts to it. Like, so organization need to have, like, as Pankaj said, right? So consent management, data management and data governance and rest of the things to ensure, like, so data privacy and security part of it is taken care. The other important thing which I think is super important, right? So which Jyoti touched upon was like, so what on the modeling, right? So what data we are feeding, right? So now, like, so the other bigger challenge, right, is good amount of data is also generated through AI, right? So, and hence, right, so misinformation and biasness, right, so of the model, right? So you need to classify again, like the very first is even the reviews are generated through AI. Now, like, so, and as travelers, right, so reviews and ratings are like foremost information for like doing any travel related, like, so decision making primarily, right? So and hence building the trust back onto those kind of things are going to be super, super important in terms of working with our partner, right? For example, like so working with all big fours primarily on cloud providers, or service providers, in ensuring, right, we are adhering to responsible AI practices, etc. And those are going to be like so. As I said, right, again, like so good. We are discussing about those things, and I am sure, like so, we continue to work on with our partners to improve on those areas. Yeah.
Because when it comes to an airport lounge, right, you're looking for exclusivity, you're also looking for privacy. So I would love for you to tell us, how does one assure your customers that, look, your data is safe with us, that sort of transparency, how can organizations bring that about?
Well, unfortunately, among this panel, I think I'm not the technology guy per se, but I can't talk truly about technology. But I can say that what I understand about data, and while we're talking about biases, that it's whatever we put in, what that comes out. So we need to be careful about what we are putting in, and I think that's something which we are very careful about. We are working on very, very limited data which we put in from customers' point of view. However, it's all about preferences which we understand. It's about what they like and what they would like us to do in future. That's a prime focus of ours, and we are very careful about how we store it. And like I said, like he mentioned, a company like Apple has created that brand for themselves of being most secured company, and we are working towards it. We are following all GDPR guidelines and whatever is required for that. But yes, we are partnering with a lot of companies who are working on AI, who are helping us derive better privacy for our guests.
Absolutely. I love listening to all the different ways AI is being harnessed to provide personalized and experiences tailored for customer satisfaction. Now, today our customers are the audience, and we would love for the audience to be satisfied. So I think it's a great note to end this panel on. Your data safe with them, at least. Thank you so much for talking to us, and thank you for being such a patient audience. Thank you.